Hi guys, Mrs. Michaels here. This is lesson 10.2 for Go Math. And if you want to, in fact, I suggest that you do. If you have your big math book at home, I suggest that you take it out and open it up to 10.2. In my book, it says it's page 385 where it starts. So you might want to turn to that because there's an activity that we're going to be doing on this video. If not, you can just watch. Yesterday, you learned the different types of angles, and I have that written down on my notebook here today. You learned that when an angle has that square corner, that's called a right angle, okay? When an angle is greater than a right angle, it's called obtuse. When an angle is less than a right angle, it's called acute. Okay, so let's take what we know about angles and let's identify triangles based on that. Okay, so again, I think this should be, making sure you can see it. Okay, I think this can be page 385 in your big book. If not, it's lesson 10.2 if you can find it. And before we get started, you might want to pause the video. You're going to need a red crayon, a blue crayon, and an orange crayon. And we're going to use that for the activity. But let's start with the top where it says, a triangle is a polygon with 3 sides and 3 angles. You can name a triangle by the vertices of its angles. So, boys and girls, if you look at the triangle right here, it's got point A, point B, point C, and you see that they can name it different ways. You can name it as triangle ABC. You could name it BCA, CAB, ACB, BAC, CBA, doesn't matter. Okay? When you see this, you're going to call it triangle and then whatever you choose. I would say ABC. Triangle ABC. Okay? So that's what a triangle is. A polygon, which is just a figure with straight sides that are all closed. And in this case, a triangle has 3 sides, okay? Now, for activity 1, it says we're going to identify right, acute, and obtuse angles in triangles. You're going to need a red crayon for any triangle that has 1 right angle, a blue crayon for any triangle that has 1 obtuse angle, and an orange crayon for 3 acute angles, okay? Now I'm going to start. Now, boys and girls, I can't find PJ's crayons. So I did find his crayons. These are his bathtub crayons, so I hope they kind of work. Okay, so pause the video. I want you to look for triangles that have 1 right angle and color them red. Okay, so let's see if you got it right. I see a right angle right here. I'm going to color it red. Oh, these are nice crayons. Okay. I see this one has a right angle. Okay. This one has a right angle. How do I know? I see that square in the corner, guys. I see that square. That tells me it's a right angle. And then this one has a right angle. Okay. Now, take out your blue crayon. I want you to find the triangles that have 1 obtuse angle. And the obtuse angles, boys and girls, are angles that are wider than the right angles. They're wider than that 90 degrees. Okay? So pause the video and color those blue. All right, let's see what you got. I see right here, this is a wide angle right here. So I'm going to color this blue. As you can see, they're still wet. Oh, man. Oh, boys and girls, I miss being in school with you. You know what I mean? Where I have all my tools right where I need them. They're not soaking wet. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so do you see that wide angle once it dries? Okay, that is our obtuse angle. Now I also see an obtuse angle right here. Okay. Penny's still wet. Okay, I see an obtuse angle right there. Do I see any other obtuse angles? Yes, I do. I see it right here. Okay. Now, pause the video, and obviously the last two are the ones, right? They're going to be orange. Those two triangles, boys and girls, have 3 acute angles. All of their angles are small. All of them are cute little angles. So this would be orange. This would be orange. And there you go. Now, let's look and let's talk about them, okay? The red ones, boys and girls, have 1 right angle. So when you're classifying those triangles, those are called right triangles. Okay? This one over here has no right angles, no obtuse angles, only acute angles. So we call that an acute triangle. Now, boys and girls, don't get hung up on the size of the triangle. Look how big this triangle is. Just because it's big doesn't mean it's not an acute triangle. The angles are acute. The lines are long. Okay, let's take this wet one right here, okay? That one has a 1 obtuse angle, so it's considered an obtuse triangle. Okay? Now, let's try A. I know it's a little smeared now, but let's try A. It says, name the triangle with 1 right angle. Which one do you see that has 1 right angle? I see it too. It's triangle PQR. And it really doesn't matter what order you put your letters in. Okay? And then look at B. It says, name the triangle with 1 obtuse angle. Well, I see this right here. See that wide angle there? Leans backwards almost. That is triangle X, Y, and Z. That's considered an obtuse triangle. Then it says name the triangle with 3 acute angles. That's the one that's left. These are all 3 little angles. They're smaller than right angles. So this is triangle A, B, C. Okay, so that's how we classify triangles. We classify them based on what kind of angles they have. If they have all acute angles, it's an acute triangle. If they have 1 wide angle, it's an obtuse triangle. And if they have any right angles in it, it's a right triangle. Okay? All right, so go to page, we're going to skip the next page. Go to page 387. Okay, and on 387, it says name the triangle. So let's do that first. A name for that triangle would be, I'll put a little triangle symbol, F, H, and G. Angle F, what kind of an angle is that? Is that acute, right, or obtuse? Angle F looks small to me, so it's acute. Angle G has that square in it, so angle G would be a right triangle. Angle H, again, looks acute to me, looks small, so it's acute. Okay, that triangle is a right triangle because it's got 1 right angle in it. Now, for 2, 3, and 4, it says classify each triangle right, acute, right, or obtuse. Well, remember, it's got 1 wide angle in it. If it's got 1 wide angle in it, it's going to be obtuse. I see a wide angle here, guys. That's obtuse. Now this one I see acute, acute, acute. And boys and girls, if you're having trouble like figuring that out, you could take a piece of paper and you can line it up. And if it's smaller than that edge of your paper, You see how it's kind of like goes underneath the paper? That's not a right angle. So those are all acute angles. It's going to be an acute triangle. Same thing here. Acute, right, or obtuse. This has a right angle. It's a right triangle. Acute, acute, acute. And I see this one's kind of turned, but I see that it's got the square corner, so that's a right triangle. Okay? And it says, cross out the figure that does not belong and explain. Well, we can explain it by labeling all the angles. Let's label this angle. This is a wide angle, so it's obtuse. This is acute. This is acute. This angle is small. That's acute. That's acute. That's acute. This one's acute. So is this one. But this one's not. This one's obtuse. This one's acute. This one's acute. But this one is wider. It's obtuse. I see a pattern. OAA, 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 but this one doesn't follow that pattern. That one's AAA, so that's the one that we can automatically cross out. Boys and girls, that's 10.2. If you have trouble, you can go back over the book or the video. And there is an on-course assignment that goes along with this. Take your time, and we'll talk again soon. All right, bye guys.